Hi guys, thanks so much for watching today. I'm going to be colouring an image that kind of goes in well with the Halloween theme. I'm colouring in Maleficent. This is from Jenny Luan from the book Anime Doodle Girls Volume 2. I hope you enjoy this image today, and let's get started. So I'm bringing you Maleficent. This is the image that I'm doing. So I have printed it on Xpress at blending card, and I've printed in a green coloured ink because I wanted the lines to blend in with the background, creating that no line image. So I've chosen some pretty colours here. I've got some YG colours that are nice and bright and almost fluorescent, and I'm also using blacks and grey and some nice purples today as well. So I've picked out my colors for the orb I'm going to start with first, and I'm going to start with that and also do the glow of the orb onto her face as well. So I'll start with doing the orb with these colors, and then I'll go in and do some colors on the face. So I'm using YG09, and I've just put in some little squiggles there into the middle there. I'm blending it out with some YG06, and I've also got YG03, and I've got some YG00 and some Y00 as well. So I've left only a small area for highlight there, which I'm blending out with YG11. And now I've got that YG00 over the top. I'm going to do second color blend in there as well, just to give it some more depth and to create the illusion that it's round. So once I've done this one, I'm going to bring in that YG00, and I'm going to put it onto her face, onto her neck, onto her hands, her shoulder, and also onto her collar as well. So we want to create the look that she's actually glowing, or that the orb's actually glowing on her face or close to her face there, so the light's reflecting on her body. I'm going to do the greens into the hat from the fire as well, so that will reflect off her hat and also off her collar. So I'm blending in some YG11 at the moment over the top of the YG00, just to start to blend in these colors and get them to look nice and fluorescent and glowing. So I'm just popping in here now and finishing this part off here. I'm going to use a little bit of YG03 in here as well, just to deepen and brighten up that color a bit more. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to do the skin colors over the top of this glow to create the look that it's actually blended in with her skin, and that it is showing and shining off her skin. So I'm also going to do this onto her neck as well, and a little bit on her shoulder there also. So we're also going to put some nice pretty colors through the face as well, including some nice red lipstick and also some red nail polish. So now I've done most of the color on the face there. I'm going to bring in some Y00 and just blend that out a little bit further and just soften it up a little bit so that I can blend over the YR colors. So I'm coming in to do that now. I've put a little bit on the nose there as well, and also a little bit on the lip. I'm going to cover over most of that, so you won't actually see a lot of that when I finish. So just before I move on to the skin, I'm going to use the YG colours to do her eyes now as well. So I'm going to use the same colours that we put through the orb. I'm going to use them through her eyes now. So I've got YG09, YG06. I'm bringing in some YG23 as well into this blend. I decided to put in some G28 in the top section here because I wanted those shadow areas a little bit darker, and then I've come back in with that YG09. So I'm going to blend these all the way down to the YG23, and then I'm going to use some black on the eyelashes and the eyeliner area, and I'm also going to use some C3 and C1 in the shadow areas, and I'm going to blend that out with the colorless blender. So in the eye color section here, I'm putting in some black pupils at the moment, but I am going to put some white highlights in the bottom part of the green, the light green area there, just to bring that out a little bit more at the end. So I'm coming in with the C colors now to do those shadow areas over the eyes, and the reason I use the zero blender over the top of those is to blend that back into the white area. So I've finished that off now, and I'm going to move on to the YR colors for her face. So I'm using YR000, and I'm going to fill out the whole face with this area. Also her neck and her hands will be this color as well. So I'm just doing a nice blend over the top of the white now to put this base color in. So now I've done that layer, I'm going to bring in some BV40. I'm going to use this for the shadow areas on the face. I've chosen the BV color because I have put the BVs through the rest of the outfit and things like that, and also we're going to be putting some violet color into her eyeshadow as well. So this actually fitted in quite well, and I like the look of it once we're finished. So I'm going to blend over the top of this one with some RV00, and then I have got some Y000 again, and we'll just blend it all in nice and smooth. Now I'm going to do a couple of layers, so I do swap and change colors in here randomly depending on if I want shadow or highlight and things like that. So I'm coming in with that V00 now, and I have a cat staring at me right now who will most likely meow, so I'm going to stop recording voice now and just see if I can get rid of that kitty. I've got that BV40 again, and I'm just going into the shadow areas and deepening them up a little bit. Got some RV00, and I'm just blending over the top of that again. That will make it easier to blend back in that YR000 later. I've got YG11, and I'm just going in and adding this to the car shadows and the shadows in the shape of the cheeks and things like that as well. I'm going to go over this area again with YR000 to blend it all in nice and smoothly, and I'm also going to use some E000 as well, just to take off some of the orange in her cheek parts there as well. So now I've got that YR000 there as well. So if you would like to know more or see the more in-depth video, you can come over to Patreon and have a look over there, and you'll be able to have access to that if you become a patron. So all of the details for that will be in the description below. Also too, if there was something else that you were interested in, perhaps doing some online classes, you can pop over to Kit and Clouder. Elise does online classes including skin, hair, and lots of other different things there as well. So it's a good way to learn some more different techniques and things like that. Otherwise, as I said, you can pop in and over to Patreon and you can have a look at my stuff there. So I've just brought in some E000 before there, just to go into the cheek areas to just lighten them up a little bit as well. And also I've blended over the whole area with that as well. So I'm just coming in now, and I keep just reshaping and redoing these shadow areas, mixing between RV00 and BV40. I'm also going to bring in YR000 as well to make these shadow areas a little bit darker around the nose and the mouth and things like that. So I want to create the illusion that she has got higher cheekbones or little round cheeks that are lighter, and also then the rest of the area on the side of her face there would be deeper and darker. So that's what I'm trying to achieve here. I also did a little bit of a shape on her chin there in a semi-circle there, just to create a little bit of highlight on the tip of her chin. And I'm leaving her nose clear of any other color and just doing the lighter colors over the top. So you can see there that I'm starting to shape in the cheeks and the face area with that YR00 now. I'm going to go over it again with YR000 just to blend it out and give it a nice smooth transition. I'm putting it all in the shadow areas as well on the hands and the neck, and I'm using the BV40 to help make that a little bit darker. If you would like to see the extended video, as I said before, just pop over to Patreon and have a look. There also is some color charts, so if you were wanting to give it a go with some pencils, I've got Prismacolor and Polychromos conversion charts there from markers to those, so you could also give that a try as well. So I'm coming in again with another layer of the YR000 just to blend it all in nice and smoothly. Now I will do this a couple of times throughout doing the skin just to make sure that I'm getting nice blends through it, and also that I'm getting the shadow and shape that I was looking for in the features of the face. So I'm just touching up things now. So now that I've done that, I'm going to bring the black in, and we're going to just line the eye around where the artist has drawn there, and I'm just going to line the eyelashes as well, so just deepen them up and go over the green that I had printed there, just to make them stand out and off the face more. So I'm also going to do the eyebrows as well. I'm going to use black for this also. I'm going to come in and do the lips next. I'm going to use R59 for the shadow areas of the lips, and then I'm only going to blend it out with one color, which is R46, because I wanted that dark red color on the lips. I've only done a highlight and a shadow, and I'm going to actually a mid-tone and a shadow, and I'm going to come in with the highlight using the white paint at the end. So I'll do all of the white paint on the facial features so you can see there how it's going to look as well. And then I'll move on to the rest of it. So once I've done the lips, I'm also going to do the nails, so the nail polish. I'm going to use this on the shadow areas, so I'm actually going to do that on either side of the nail, just the line, and then I'm going to blend that line out and leave a thin slither of white through the middle of the nails as highlights. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that off. So before I pop the facial highlights in, I'm just going to put a little bit more of a purple color into the eyelashes, the eyelids there. So I'm just using V12 to just do that there, and I'm going to blend it out with the YR000. So I wanted to make sure that the highlight areas and things like that were okay with what I'd done so far. So I've just come in with the white opaque watercolor that I've got here with a little brush, and I'm just having a look and adding in some of these highlight areas to make sure that I've got the color that I want in those areas. So I'm also going to put a little bit in the orb there as well, just to brighten that up a little bit. So I'm going to come in with some green to do the fire now. I'm going to use similar colors that we used in the orb. So we'll start off at the bottom of the fire image there, and I'm going to fill in YG09. I'm just going to put it in from the bottom and flick it out up towards the top of the flame. I'm going to go over it with a couple of colors, but I'm going to fill out this area here and do behind each of the sections of flames there. It's split up into a couple of sections, so I'll do those now. So now I've done that, I'm going to blend over the top of that with YG06 and just blend that a little bit further out up towards the tip more of the flames. So I'm going to go over the top of this with some YG25 and YG23, which will bring me all the way to almost the tips of the flames. So I'm going to use a YG21 just to do the highlight areas around each of those flames as well. So I'm just going to go in and blend out. So I'm blending out with YG06 at the moment. And now I'm going to blend out over the top of that with YG25. So if you'd like more in-depth details on what I'm actually doing and also color list, don't forget to pop over to Patreon and have a look. I'll also pop a link to my blog in the description below as well, so you can have a look there, and all the links for those things will be in my blog as well. So I'm just continuing on. I'm going over the top of the previous color right from the bottom there, and I'm bringing it all the way up to probably halfway through the flames now. So I've made sure I've filled that colour in up and above the collar and her head there as well, because that would be the colour that would go extend all the way up there. So I'm blending that out now with YG23, and I'm almost going to the edge or the end of each of those flame sections. I'm leaving a small gap of white there because I'm going to put some YG21 in there just to get that nice and bright and give it that glowing kind of look. And we're going to do a black background, so that'll really stand off that black background. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish off this one, and then I'm going to bring in that YG21 and go over the top of that and blend that out to finalize those flames. So now I'm bringing in that YG21 and I'm just going over the previous color, and I'm extending this all the way to the tips of the flames now. So all of the color will be filled in. So now I'm going to start on the reflection of the flames up onto her collar and also her hat. So I'm using YG23 and I'm just bringing this color in off the edges of each of the horns there, and then from the middle I'll do into the middle a bit more. So we're creating the illusion that there's a reflection from the flames onto her clothing. So that's what I'm trying to achieve here. So I'll do this on the horns and also on the collar as well. There is a little bit of the glow on her clothes also down the bottom, which we'll do a little bit later on. So I'm going to blend that out with YG21, and I'm going to bring that color up a little bit further in these areas here on the collar. So I'm just starting from the previous color and just bringing this a little bit further out towards the middle of the collar areas. I'm going to use black, and I'm going to use some C9, C7 and C5, and I'm going to blend this out from the shadow side and blend it in towards this green side. So what we're going to try and do is give the illusion that the whole outfit is actually black, and that just these sections here are standing out because the flames are reflecting off them. So I've got the black there, and then I'm going to blend over that with the C9, then I've got C7 and C5. So I've done the C9 and the C7, and I'm just about to come in with C5 now. Then I'll come back in and go over the top of that color with some YG21 and just go over the top of the area that I've already done here with the grey. And then I'll go over it again then, the whole area with the YG23, so that I can blend that color nicely through. So then it starts to look like that it actually is black material and that this is the reflection off the flames. Now I'm just going to repeat the same process on the other side of the collar as well. I did just come back in with the black and just deepen up those shadow areas again because they did desaturate a lot when I went back over it with the YG23. So I've got the black again now, and I'm putting in the shadow areas on the left side of the collar now. Just repeating the same steps that I did previously, going over all the lines at the moment and adding in the shadow areas, and then I'm just going to blend out the black with the C9, then C7, and then C5, and I'm going to repeat the same steps with the greens as well. So everything is exactly the same as what we just previously did. So now I've completed the collar part. I'm going to put in some colour into the orb and the staff there. So around the orb I did a black line all the way around it, and now I'm going to put in some colour into the staff. I decided to go with gold, but I think her staff could be black or grey or anything like that. There was a couple of different colours when I was looking up pictures of Maleficent. So I'm just using the E15 into the shadow areas, and I wanted to put a little bit in also into the part that she's holding as well, and I've put a cast shadow from where her hand would be as well there. So I'm going to blend it out with Y38, and then I've got Y35, and then I'm going to move to Y32, and I'm going to do that on the main highlight sections. At the end there, I do forget to pop in the white highlights on this bit, but you would go in and put white highlights on it as well. So you could go in with a second coat on this as well if you'd like to. So I'm just going to finish it off by blending it out with the Y32. And then I'm going to start doing her wings and also the trimming around the top of her robe there. So her robe's going to be black, but the trim's going to be purple. So in the pictures that I have seen of Maleficent, when she's a dragon, her belly and middle part is actually purple normally, and I just thought, well, let's put it into the wings as well, because that's the only area that I have a nice large area to be able to bring that colour in. So I'm just going over the darker lines of the collar there with some C9 just to lighten them up a tiny bit and make them a little less dark. I was having trouble with my black marker there, so the black was quite thick and sticky, and that's another reason I went back over it again. So I'm using BV17, and I'm going to do all of the shadow areas of the wings in this color, and also the collar of her robe as well. So I'm going in on the right hand side of each of those little sections that are dangling down there to create shadows, and I'll blend them out up until the lightest color. And on the wings I'll do the same thing, so starting from the top left edge, I'm going to blend those out from the darkest color, each section there on both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and line all this in now. So I'm blending this out with BV13. So I use BV17 for the darker areas and BV13 to blend that out. And I'm going to go to BV11 next. I'm going to try and leave a small white gap there. If I don't leave it, it doesn't matter, because I'm going to go in with the white later and put those little reflections in anyway. I've got that BV11, and I'm going over the top of the previous color and blending this further out. And I am going to try and leave a white gap just there on the left side of it, just to see if I can get that to look more highlighted. I will come back in with the white, as I said earlier, just to fill that in anyway. So I'm going to do this here and also on her collar. So I've also done the bottom left sleeve in this same color as well. So just to break up the color down here a little bit. I'm going to do this whole robe black, and then we're going to use the white to help us to define what areas are what at the end. Because her arm and the bird does blend in all together with the black, the white comes, when I bring that in, it does separate those things from each other. So I'm coming in now and I'm going to use some C7, and I'm going to come in and put a dark shadow area in the middle of the hat. And I'm going to blend this out then with BV17 and BV13 to help give me a look of the color fading out from the dark color to the green. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this in, and I do go over it a couple of times just to deepen it up and really get that nice look, and also to make sure that it's blended nicely as well. So also too, I've noticed as I was recording, or when I came back to it, that the headpiece there was a little bit wonky where the shadow starts in the middle there, so I do even that up a little bit later as well. So I'm just lining in BV17 now. I'm putting a line down the middle of each of the horns there, because that's where I'm going to put the shadow coming from. And then obviously on each side there, it's going to have the reflection of the fire. So I'm going to go ahead and keep filling this out, and I'm going to bring that C7 back over the top of these sections here to darken them up as well, and then blend it all out with the BV13. So just redoing the colours now and extending them a little bit further out towards the green sections again. So I'm just darkening up this with C7 at the moment. I'm going to go back over it with the BV17 and then BV13 again. So I'm just straightening out the middle section of the hat now using the C7 and BV17 to get that nice and smooth, and to make both sides of that hat look fairly even from the middle out. I'm going to use some BV11 at the end just to finalize off the colors from the outside in as well. So I've just got that BV11 and I'm just popping this through and lining up a couple of areas and just bringing through the pink tone through it as well there. So I've got YG21, I'm just bringing it from the edge all the way in and over the purple a bit so that it looks like it's blended in there. So as I'm finishing that off now, I'm going to come in and do the robe down the bottom here now next. So I'm going to use black, and I'm going to use black pretty much over this whole area. I'm only going to blend out the black from black to grey when I get up to the left hand shoulder there, where we've already got the green in there off the orb. So I will blend that out a little bit like I did in the collar with the same colours, so C7, C9, C7 and C5, just to get that transition between the grey to the green colour nice and smooth. So I'm even going to fill out the bird with black as well, and as I said, I'm going to use the white opaque paint at the end to separate those from her outfit and things like that. So I will use a little bit of C9 through the bird as well, just on the top of the wing there, just to sort of show that had a little bit more of a shine on it from the light. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill this bit out. So just reminding you again that I am colouring the image from Jenny Luan from the book Anime Doodle Girls Volume 2. You can get hard copies of this as well as the digital files also. So I can put the links to those in the description below as well. So I'm just going ahead and continuing on to finish this black off now. So I'm going to blend out this section here. So I'm going to use C9, C7 and C5, and then I'm going to go back over the green sections with the YG21 and YG23 just to blend them out over the top of the grey areas to finalize that part off. So I just put a bit of BV17 and BV13 into the ring there on her finger, and also just on the trimming around the outfit there as well. So I'm coming in now with some black, and I'm going to fill out the entire bird. I'm going to leave a couple of sections white where I'm going to spread out some C9 into that just to lighten those areas off a bit. At the end, I'm going to come back over the black with some white just to show the highlights and things like that in there as well. So this will be defined apart or set aside from the rest of the outfit there with that white later on. So I'm going to leave the top of the wing, which I'm going to blend out with that C9. I'm also going to do the beak and the eye, and the claws in orange and yellow, and I'm going to do the eye area there with some purple. So I've got some Y38 to do the claws and the beak area. I'm going to bring in some YR07 for some orange and to do some shadow areas. So I'm putting the shadow areas in on the feet, and I'm going to put this on the edge of the beak right near the eye and just blend that out into the Y38. So I've just marked in the areas that I wanted a little bit darker, and also on the tip of the beak there with it as well, and I'm going to blend that out with the Y38 now. Before I do that, I've just done around the eyes with BV13, and I've lined the lines that were there with the BV17, and now I'm coming in with the Y38. So I wanted to bring a part of the dragon colours into a neck here, because it is kind of already looks like it's transitioning to dragon shape there. So I just used BV13 to line the side of her neck there and a little bit on the lines that were in the neck. So now I'm just going to fill out the background. So I've just used black. I did have issues with my black marker, I did say that earlier. I've had to flood that through with some clear blending fluid, and I've refilled it now with black ink so it doesn't do the streaky thing that it's done here. So the marker, I'm not sure if it was just running really low or if the ink was just getting too old and it had started to go cloggy or not. But sometimes it's a good idea to keep your nibs clean, which I do, but still, even with cleaning the nib, I still had issues with it. So I think it was the ink inside the marker. So having cleaned that out during this period, it actually did free up that ink, and it comes out a lot nicer and better once I do that. So you can see with that ink changeover how much more smooth that black is to lay down, giving it a more even look, and it's a lot easier for me to use that texture. Before, it was gripping on the paper. I just couldn't get it to go smooth at all. So I'm really glad that I sat and decided to empty that out. Now I've just realized I missed a little bit of the fire or the flame sticking out from the top of her head there, so I'll fill that out with a little bit of YG23 and also a little bit of YG21 just to finish that off, and then I'm going to finish that sky. So we're pretty much done with the whole picture now. Once we've finished this part off here, I'm going to do the rest of the time filling out the highlight sections. So really, you're just putting in, you could use gel pen, anything like that. Just remember, gel pen you can't actually wipe off if you do make a mistake. With the white opaque paint, you can actually wash it off if you make a mistake, which is good. So I use the paint because I think it leaves a lot brighter highlights. The ink doesn't bleed through it and change the color of the highlights either, which is good. And also it's a little bit easy to use, and you've got different shaped brushes, so you can do thicker or thinner lines if you need to. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish off this section now and fill out those highlight sections as well. And also we've got to pop some stars, or even I think they could be fire embers off that using the white as well. So I'm just fixing up all of the little details in there in the black that I wanted to finish off. So I'm just using the white to highlight the differences between her arm and her robe there, so that you can see that she's lifting up her arms and it doesn't just all blend into one color. I've also used it to go over the wing of the crow or the raven there, just to show a little bit of highlight on right on the edge of the wings, and to also do the same thing to define or separate that from the rest of the body of the bird. So I'm just going in and I'm just putting in some lines where I would put some highlight areas. It doesn't really matter where you put it. It really does just make the picture, though. It's that little bit of detail there that sets it apart from the rest. So I'm just putting some of these lines through the flames as well, and also I'm going to do some dots all over the back area there to show the embers off the flames as well. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this part off here for you, and we are coming up to the end as well now, so I'll just pop in and finish this off. Thanks everyone for watching, and thank you for your continued support in subscribing to my channel. If you haven't already, please do so, because you'll receive notifications when I upload new videos. I just want to thank everyone again. It means a lot to me that you're still hanging around. Also please do check out the Patreon website there, because it does help me out a lot if you could support me in that way. Say hello to Shadow there in the background. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. Catch you soon.